Hey everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale. I am your host, and we love to do fitness, and these are my friends. And so tonight we have special guests. We have Patrick Ford, and Easy Muhammad from Project Onyx. And we're so excited to have them. This is something that they've just kind of started, and we want to learn a ton about that. And first, I want to talk about Patrick. You are a doctor of physical therapy.
Yes, sir.
And you were a Cyclone at Iowa State.
Yes, I was.
So have you always been in Iowa, or did you migrate there and then just end up staying?
Yeah, so I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. My brother ended up attending Iowa State before me, and that's what exposed me to Iowa State and the Cyclones and everything they had to offer. Then I met my wife, and the rest is history.
And you have kids?
One daughter.
One daughter.
Yeah.
Same here. And then we have Easy Muhammad. We're kind of a CrossFit podcast, so our listeners probably know who he is. Two-time Games qualifier, Columbus native, Beechcroft stud, and then and he ended up going to Tennessee Tech to play basketball, where he eventually became the strength and conditioning coach. And then how did you get to Iowa?
So my mother-in-law is in Iowa, and so we have 4 kids, and we were just like, we got to get around some family, man. So we just packed it up and came to Iowa to be closer to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you need help with 4. I have trouble with 1. So you guys kind of came together. Did you guys know each other before you came together for Project Onyx?
We had lived around the corner from each other. I moved to Ankeny, Iowa, which is pretty much right in the middle of Iowa, after grad school with my wife. And I saw this dude just hanging out, getting some workouts in. I thought it was just some athlete, maybe an Iowa State athlete or something. Then went past his house and realized he was Elijah Muhammad. And that was kind of like where the connection sparked.
And then did you guys just become fast friends after that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Right when we started kind of talking and theorizing about what Project Onyx was going to be, we connected immediately. The first conversation we had was about Project Onyx and the idea of it. And we talked for 3 hours the first time that we ever sat down and had a one-on-one. So it just ended up working out great.
That's awesome. And then, so I read on your website that the George Floyd incident and other acts of police brutality are kind of what set this thing in motion.
Yeah. So we had both already in our lives. We didn't even know each other, but just being, young Black men, just being Black in general, it weighs on you. It weighs on everyone, pretty much. Everyone that pretty much has a heart and has seen these things happen. So I guess just through it weighing on us year after year, time after time, incident after incident, God placed us together. And it was the incident of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, that kind of made Patrick just say, okay, like, what am I doing? What can I do? Or what should I be doing? And at that time, I was thinking the same thing. And I was just like, I know what to do, but like, I don't know, like, I got to take care of my family. I got a lot of things on my plate. Like, do I really have time to, pick up, more and do more? And that was just always the hard part for me, actually just doing it. And when Patrick came over, he was like, man, I got this idea. And I think, I really would love your support. And I just told him, like, I'm all in. I am. Once he kind of brainstormed and we started chatting about it when we were in the house and the different ideas and what we can do, the different structures, I was just like, bro, we are perfect for each other. It's like we're like a match, bro. Like, let's do it. And I was just like, I'm all in. And so I asked him just to keep his foot on the gas, man. I said, just don't let up. Keep your foot on the gas. I'll do my part in promoting it, marketing it, growing it, building it, funding it, whatever you say my part is versus what your part is. Just keep your foot on the gas, and I'll do the same. And literally, that's all we've done. We've made it a huge priority of ours to continue to grow Project Onyx and work with these teenage boys and the youth that we have in our program.
So growing up, what obstacles did you guys have to overcome that you see you need to help the youth with today? And did you have mentors in place while you were coming up that helped you with that then?
Yeah, this is I think this is such a great point for both of us to touch on, because we had pretty different lives as far as like the demographics that we grew up with. I grew up in white suburbia of Chicago. Like there's not a lot of Black people around. I'm biracial Black American, and the family that I grew up around was white Americans. All my friends were white. I had a few Black friends, but a lot of it was kind of just even understanding where I fit into all of that and discovering some of my Black culture only with like me and my siblings. That was kind of like our network to figure out what it meant to be who we were. And then kind of pursuing health and fitness. In my life, there wasn't anybody that was doing that was a person of color. And we both talk about this so much, but just a lack of representation and a lack of guidance by somebody who had mutual experience from us in this field of health and fitness was such a huge part of something that we had to overcome to get into it. And Elijah will speak on his experience kind of getting into CrossFit and all of that stuff. But I've had great mentors in physical therapy, and they've taught me so much about how to be a good physical therapist, but none of them were capable or able to tell me about how to navigate the world as a Black American trying to get into this field where I think maybe 3 to 4% of our profession is African American. So yeah, just trying to overcome that representation and setting yourself as the example for people to come after you and do the same thing. So,
and for me, it was a total opposite. Like I had very, very limited touch to white ethnicity. Like it was predominantly grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Since you guys are from Columbus, the Mount Vernon area on the east side toward downtown, and not far from between Broad Street and it was just a rough neighborhood. It was what you would call the ghetto. So there weren't many white people around. My mother was an Islamic woman, and I was raised under the Nation of Islam or those teachings. And I was actually raised in the church, but just a lot of teachings from both. So I had a lot of mentors through sports. As you said, Beechcroft High School. I was one of the top tier athletes, more so in my day in Columbus, Ohio. So just being a big name around the city, you get a lot of people that want to reach out, that want to support, want to help. Along with that, I had a huge support system in my church with my mother and everyone that was in my church. So I had a lot of mentors that could support me and help me and guide me and just keep my head straight. So it wasn't until I got to Tennessee Tech to where I was kind of like, this is different. Because Tennessee Tech was a predominantly white school, and the only Black people you saw was athletes pretty much, or, a lot of biracial. That's when I was kind of introduced to a lot of biracial kids and people and stuff like that. And yeah, so as I got into that space, I got into CrossFit through college, and I was just like, I fell in love with it. And quickly saw that, of course, I was able to see that, oh man, there's not many Black people that do CrossFit. There's not many Black people in the sport at all. And so you just kind of, for me, it was just find the one. All I need I just need to see the one, and I'm good. And if there is none, then I'll just kind of be the one. Like, like I'll just tell myself like, all right, well, you be the representation. Never uncomfortable to be the outsider or the outlier or whatever. It never makes me feel uncomfortable. So that was like my first experience, just kind of in a more diverse area or more predominantly white area. Mentors were great, but when I got into CrossFit, I just didn't see that representation. And it wasn't in the forefront of me doing CrossFit. So even though I didn't see the representation, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be the representation. I'm going to stand firm and be, it was just kind of like, I love CrossFit. Like, I love training. I love pushing my body. I love what it does to me mentally. I started getting bigger. So it was more of those things. And then when I did see, that Black representation, I was just kind of like, oh, let me come give you a hug, or let me show you some love. Cause it's not many of us that are here. But that's kind of my experience, man. I had a lot of mentors, and the only difference that my mentors that I would say growing up is that as I got older and became into CrossFit, which is a predominantly white space, I started getting more an understanding of, the capitalistic world that we live in, finances and money and things like that, which I was never taught as a kid, or no one ever, you just don't have that. You don't have those resources, that information. So as I got into it, it was just kind of like, man, like I had a lot of mentors, but like no one was grooming me to financially make money, or, have wealth, or own a house, or, build a business. Like, it was just kind of like people telling you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And that's where I was like, okay, in Project Onyx, we got to do something different. And it can't just be me lecturing the kids.
So for those of our listeners and viewers who may not be familiar with Project Onyx, can you give us a little brief description about what it is and what the program is?
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah. So essentially our founding mission is to eliminate health and fitness disparities in the Black, Indigenous, people of color community across the U.S. And this includes just getting rid of all the barriers that we see that impede somebody from engaging in healthy behaviors or a healthy lifestyle or in fitness. And a lot of this was developed out of our research on what these disparities look like, and then the events that were happening in the CrossFit world as well this past summer. So we just kind of got together and we said we need to really work on helping improve representation and giving our future professionals, the teenagers that we're working with, somebody that looks like them, that understands their experience, and that can show them, like, whatever you want to do, you can do it. But a big thing that might limit their motivation to get into it is seeing somebody that is already doing it. Elijah is a bit of an outlier where he's like, well, if I don't see somebody, I'm going to, I'll be the thing. I had a little bit in that in myself too, but that's not always how it works out. So representation is huge for us in teaching them about health, teaching them how to empower themselves and become more independent. But we're also just focused on the big picture, how do we spread this type of culture across the entire US to different CrossFit or fitness spaces? How do we get healthcare providers to know more about the racial disparities and to know what they can do to make a difference? Right. And then just educating our communities in general and giving back to them. So a big part of what everyone is seeing on our Instagram, if you go to Project Onyx DSM on Instagram, you'll see a bunch of teenagers working out and getting some fitness on. We're working on our mentorship program, which is going to start in a couple of weeks. So we have some really exciting things going on, but we just want to see more people of color in these spaces, and we want to see all of us, just being more integrated in each other's lives and having more exposure and more proximity to each other. That's such a huge part for us.
And your mentorship program is broken into two different types, right? There's the Dreamers, yep, and there's the Future Professionals program.
Yep.
And so what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so our Dreamers program is really for any kid that's, just sitting in their high school class and they're starting to think about the things that they want to do. And that list tends to be long for a lot of our kids because a lot of them are very ambitious, which is great. They want to be personal trainers. They see easy doing his strength coaching. They want to be coaches. A lot of them are in athletics. Maybe they want to be sports coaches, or they're learning more about their nutrition and how that helps them become an athlete. So they want to be nutritionist. And now they're getting exposure to me as a physical therapist, and maybe they want to do rehab. or we have a kid that's interested in nursing. We have another one that wants to do psychology. So a lot of these are health and fitness professions that they're interested in, that we want to just give them a little bit exposure, a little bit of guidance on what it looks like to have them have a better understanding moving into either college or some type of certification process that will get them to that next step. So it's really just exposing them to it and giving them the first step into the door of what that world looks like.
And in the future professionals, is that an extension of that to go a little bit further?
Exactly. So the next step would be looking at those who are already pursuing these fields and giving them extra guidance on what they need to do exactly to have success, whether it's build your own business doing the thing you want to do, navigating the space as a person of color, and learning more about how to be an effective professional in your space. If it's strength and conditioning, teach you more about programming and how to modify programming and how to manage clientele. If you're a nurse, then it's understanding how do you be efficient with your time? How do you be efficient with your documentation? How do you ensure that you're giving the most effective treatment to the people that you're seeing? So really it's catered to the individual, what they need, as well as the level that they're dedicated to their profession. And the big part of this that we wanted to do was have different levels, right? So that if we can get all three of these things going at the same time, a whole network of professionals in these fields, we have the next level of those who are currently pursuing them, and then our dreamers that want to get into them. We could have a bunch of different experience across age ranges and experience ranges that can all help each other just get more connected with each other and really groom the next group of people that are going to take over our roles.
So my next question for you is actually about the mentors themselves. How has it been trying to procure mentors to carry out the program?
Yeah, it's been really interesting and really inspiring, because we put out a post a couple weeks ago that said that we needed mentors. And in the first, I want to say 24 hours, we probably had 12 to 20 people reach out to us on Instagram from across the US, a few local, and a wide variety. And that's been really great. We want to expand that network even more. We only have a few kids in this first cohort, which will limit the amount of mentors that can actually participate. But it's been so great to see how many people want to contribute and want to give back. And we just kind of solicited out to anybody that consider themselves a health and fitness professional. We want you to be on board. We sent them a long email that I took too much time to write up, and kind of just laid out what the mentorship program looks like for our Dreamers program.
And I also noticed on your website, you have 4 core values of your mentorship program, and I love them. And so I'll read them out and you can explain them as we go. The first one is opportunity, representation, and exposure.
Yeah. Easy. I know I did a lot of this stuff, but you know all about that opportunity, representation, exposure.
Yeah. So the opportunity, representation, exposure. It was just one, growing up where we grew up at, we didn't have the opportunity. As I said before, I didn't have the opportunity to learn about finances, money, things like that. I wasn't taught. I didn't have people that I could reach out to that can find these things. So the opportunity lacks in the community that we grew up in, and in the school system that we are in. So due to the school system and the way it's built, and due to where predominantly most Black people are, like housing in areas, we don't have the opportunity to find certain things or get to certain things. And so the opportunity thing was like, let's create this opportunity. And what it does is it allows kids to basically find the financial freedom that they need at a young age, or just the creativity and ideas that they need for when they get older. And then that goes into the representation part. The representation part is like, we sat down and asked the kids, what do they want to be? And out of all the kids, we got engineer, nurse, we got a psychologist, strength coaches. We did the same thing about 3 weeks later, and over 50% of those kids changed their mind and said, hey, I want to own my own gym. And it was just cool to see because they see me like owning my own gym, running my own businesses and doing things. And it started to get them to a point where they were like, I want to do that because of the representation they see and because they have the opportunity to be directly in touch with me. And so we just want to create more representation wherever that field may be, wherever it may be. So as Patrick was talking about with the mentorship thing, we're going out and using our resources to find people in certain fields so that they can communicate with our Project Onyx kids, whether it be here, whether it be in another city, state, just so that they can have someone that they can follow on Instagram or communicate with regularly. Or we're going to set up calls where, hey, you got to meet with this person, once a week and clock hours and talk to them about what they do and how you're going to get there and how you're going to achieve that, and just getting them the representation that they need to see so they can pursue what they want. As Patrick said before, like, I'm an outlier. I don't really, like, if no one's doing it, I'm game. I'll do it. Like, if I don't see anyone, that's okay. Like, I'll stand front, and I don't mind doing that. But everyone's not like that. And you wonder why you get a huge group of kids that are like, hey, I want to make it to the NBA, or I want to be a professional football player, or, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a rapper, or it's because the pool of African-American and Black people in those areas are so huge. So it's like, I see that representation. So that's maybe all I got. Maybe that's all I can go do. And that's why you have that pool of people. So we're just trying to create that representation across the board and directly in the fitness industry, because that's where we're at right now. And that's where we have the most connections to.
I'm curious if you guys have created, I know things right now are probably kind of crazy just because of COVID, but have you guys created any kind of partnerships with any kind of, maybe some local businesses or maybe some schools in order to incorporate some more of that representation for maybe some of those outlying fields that is not inclusive into necessarily fitness?
Yeah, we right now I just had a lady. It was so funny because I messaged Patrick and I said, hey, we need to get with someone that's in the Des Moines public schools. Like, we need to find someone. And he was just like, yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm on it. I'll find someone, And literally like 3 days later, a lady walks in my gym. She's a teacher in Des Moines public schools. Young Black lady. And I was just like, gosh, God, that was easy. Like, that was, that was awesome. So, yes, we are reaching out and people nearby and local businesses and stuff like that, trying to communicate and start stuff with them. It's just, like I said, right now it's me and Patrick. We have 2 other people on the board. So it's just really hard to manage everything. Patrick has his job, his business, his family. I have the same thing. So right now we're trying to do that. But yeah, we are on that route of finding local people that we can communicate, work with, and that can kind of assist the kids and, that representation part of, different businesses outside of fitness.
So I want to touch on the second core value, and that is that knowledge is power.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, just straight up, right? Like, the more knowledge we can give them about anything in life gives them power to take control, right? Like Easy said, and it was the same for me. Nobody taught me finances. Nobody taught me which student loans were the ones I should take out. How am I going to manage my student loans? How am I going to buy a house? How am I going to afford my family? Nobody taught me any of that stuff. And you just learn it off the cuff. But giving them the example of these people that are managing these situations and telling them, like, this is how I'm doing it. This is the way I know how to do it. It's working out. Like, you have more knowledge. If we don't know it, we're going to go find people that have that knowledge for you so that they can teach you. And taking care of your health and taking control of your health is so much a game of knowledge. And having accurate knowledge is so important too.
It was a post not too long ago, and it made me laugh because I was just like, I was telling a friend of mine a long time ago, and I was just basically like, hey, like, I don't need you to give me anything. Just tell me what you know. If you know something and you don't think I know it, tell me or teach me it. And this was around a time where I was like really trying to grow in CrossFit and get become a better coach. I was already a strength and conditioning coach, but I just wanted to excel in coaching and giving information and taking care of people. And I was like, man, I don't need anything. But if you know something that I don't know, or you think I don't know, I need that information. I need to be a better coach. I need everything. And so it was a post on social media, and it said, would you rather get $500,000 from Bill Gates or have 24 hours with him to learn about what he does? And I was just sitting there like, give me the 24 hours, bro. Just give me like and when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, man, like, but if I got the $500,000, I can do this. But if I got the information, I can do this. So it was just this tug of war game where it was like, $500,000, I can invest in this, I can do this. But it was just like, but what if I had the $500,000 and I did not know what to do with it? I didn't, I was young, and I was just like, man, I got $500,000. I'm gonna buy this and buy that and buy that, and then boom, it's gone. And now I got to manage all of these things with no knowledge of how to do it. And so I was just sitting down, and I was like, man, like, it's so crazy that where we grew up at, like, that's literally like the world of where I grew up at, where it's just like, man, I get this lump sum of money, or I get my money, and it's just like, and you just see it all the time with simple things like tax returns. It's like, oh, I got my taxes back, and it's just like gone, weeks, months, it's gone. You did nothing that you were supposed to do with that money. And it just goes back to that knowledge is power, man. If you just have that knowledge base of how to do certain things the proper way, whether it be manage money, coach classes, or obtain a career or a job, open a business, anything, that is longevity. You always got that. You can always lean back on that. You can always fall back on that. You can always figure things out. So that knowledge is power is huge. And that's what we try to teach the kids, where it's just like, you got it. Like, the more information you got, the better off you can be. Like Mike Patrick said, correct and good information.
And having the access to knowledge, like knowing that you have somebody that you can go to give you that knowledge, is such a huge part too. It's like, man, I need to know more about this. I can Google it, but how do I find somebody that can just teach me about this stuff? It's like, we can just gather a huge network of people that is your knowledge that you can just access whenever you need it. So that's just huge for us.
Yeah.
So the third core value is empathy and compassion.
Yeah, go for it, easy.
Man, this is huge, man. Especially in the world we're living in right now and what's been going on. I've had a lot of uncomfortable conversations through social media. I've had a lot of rough conversations, and I've purposefully opened up for that space to be as open as possible. Talk about race, talk about whatever you want, talk about how this cop is right, or, this person was wrong. Express how you feel. And at the end of it was just like, you have zero compassion about what is going on or what is happening to someone, regardless of their color. And so that is something where it's just like, I think that the sympathy and compassion is just basically like understanding perspective. And if you have a clear understanding that everyone has a different perspective, everyone is drastically different, everyone is raised different, different religions, maybe different traumas, different, like, once you start getting that, you can be compassionate with people because you understand that they're only functioning based off of what they've learned, what they've been introduced to, or what has happened to them in their life. So therefore, I can't hold it against you. And I feel like that is something that we want to make sure the kids understand, where it's just like, we had a really, really tough conversation with some kids, I'll explain, and they just felt a certain way about police. And I was explaining to them, I was like, you can't just pull police. Like, as much as we want to, how would you feel if someone said all Black people, or all CrossFitters, or all CrossFit gyms, or all physical therapists, or like you can't just pull them. And basically, people are functioning off of what they think is right and how they process things or what has happened to them. And so it was just that they had no empathy for that side of things. And I was like, I understand your hurt, I understand your feelings, but like, this is the part that we got to try to work on. And we got to try to see a better perspective. Completely wrong, yes. The incidents that they were talking about and that happened, but it was just giving them a better understanding that it's like, once you start understanding perspective, you then can empathize with people, because it's just like, you're only functioning based off of what has happened in your life. And I think this is a huge part of growth in general. And what it does to me, it allows me to just say, hey, like, I feel for you, keep going. And it allows me to kind of just continue to move forward in my path without feeling that rage or anger too much or lashing out. And so this is something we try to talk to the kids about, and just how to navigate their feelings, because along with this, they are getting a lot of information really fast. So like with social media and technology, it's easy to get angry, because like the way these algorithms work, if you're looking for something, they're going to give you more of it. And so it was something where it was just like, man, like people just don't have enough of it. Like they don't have enough of it. Like they don't want to see that side. They don't want to open up their perspective to be like, hey, like I asked a couple of people, it's like, have you ever been poor? It's like, no. And this was in my gym where my members were talking about politics. It's like, have you ever been poor? It's like, no. It's like, have you ever been on like welfare, Section 8, anything like that? It's like, no. It's like, what about your parents? It's like, no. It's like, well, you struggle. Your dad had to walk miles to work and whatever. But I was like, have you ever sat in your house with the lights off, no power, no electricity for maybe a week or maybe a couple of days? Like, no. It's like, well, then empathize with the person that's telling you their situation and their problem and why they feel like the world is against them and they can't function and they can't make it out, or they can't, like, it's not just the process of, oh, well, you just need to work hard. It's like, this person's dealing with something that you've never experienced. Just empathize with them, encourage them, and keep it moving. And so it's just things like that where it just comes with perspective, based off of where you've been in life and stuff like that. And we try to make sure the kids are understanding that so that they can empathize with a lot of the people that they're maybe in school with or they bump into somewhere else, and just kind of give them a better perspective in a younger age, so that they can, keep level-headed, stay calm and cool, and, stay the course of how they need to be moving.
I love that you say that. And I think just, when thinking about the empathy in that aspect, I think that many of us might have a hard time with that perspective taking because it's uncomfortable, right? We don't like those uncomfortable feelings, because when I try to take someone's perspective, I don't like that. So I might avoid it. Instead of, even as adults where we're older, we might have more tools on how to handle the emotional aspects of empathy and perspective taking. But a lot of our youth don't have some of those tools yet on how to handle those uncomfortable feelings. So yeah, like we can talk about those uncomfortable things, but we need to learn those tools too. So I think that's great that's an important core value for you guys.
And not even that, but like, with the, like, you gotta remember, these are teenagers. So like, even if you have the tools, you still can't make the changes. Like, you still live at home with mom and dad. You can't move a certain way. And so these things really affect you as a teenager, because it's like, that's what's going to produce who's about to come into the adulthood. Simple things of like, just like we had talked about it one time where it was just like, just imagine a police officer that has been traumatized as a teenager, as a kid, homeless, been beat, whatever, things have happened to him. And then all of a sudden he's an adult. He goes to the military, he comes out the military after seeing, whatever. And then he goes into the police force, and now he has a gun and a badge and authority, and he can act and behave in ways that he's always wanted to, but he couldn't. Like, he can defend people because his mom got beat up and he wanted to defend her, but he was a kid, and now he has this power. So it's just like, you got to remember, like, everyone has trauma. And so as you get older, we're trying to teach these perspectives now so you can empathize with people and keep yourself calm, just knowing like this person may have something bigger than what I can see. And that's what I think is crucial for just a young adult to be able to know, like, hey, I'm going to just be optimistic. I can empathize with you. I can be optimistic. I can stay positive. I don't have to rage. I don't have to get angry. I don't have to react. I can process my feelings and just letting them express that to us so that we can teach them and work with them more. And we do that every day before class. We have these discussions every day before class where it's just like, let it out. Like, give me, like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, tell me, how did you handle it? Did anything crazy happen this week, or what's going on? And of course, if it gets personal, we talk to them one-on-one, or we connect with them one-on-one, but just grooming them and teaching them so that, they can navigate the world in a way where it doesn't always have to be I'm angry or I'm mad or, I'm just non-responsive and I don't feel and I'm numb, and it's just a lot that goes on, man.
Mm-hmm.
And your last core value is kind of an extension of that as well. And it is understanding the how and why.
Yeah. This has been super important for me growing first as like a professional and a physical therapist, but then navigating all this racial tension that is built up and just understanding more how things happen, why they happen. I think this is really important to provide a good service to somebody, right? We're not just giving them some surface level product that we think is going to work. We understand the details of all of it, right? We understand exactly how it's going to work. We know why we're deciding to do these things. How is it going to help you? Like, what are the benefits of this specific thing? It's the same thing navigating these types of conversations, right? Like, how do we even get here in the first place? Why are we even talking about this? Like, these are questions that you need to be asking constantly so that you can continue to find that knowledge and that information that will help you navigate. So for these kids and young adults that are trying to get into these health and fitness spaces, it's like, okay, you want to be a physical therapist and you see maybe a physical therapist on TV giving some type of treatment like a massage, something like that. And then I'll look at that and I'll be like, all right, why are they doing that massage? Oh, to make their pain go away. Okay, well, how is it doing that? And then it's like, oh, well, it kind of stops there, right? Because like they don't have that information. It's like, okay, you want to do this stuff, like let's take these examples and understand them even better so we can know what is the exact way that we want to act when we're in this profession, right? Easy's not just prescribing back squats and then a row plus a burpee workout for no reason. It's like, well, like, why are we deciding to do it in this order, right? Why are we choosing these reps and sets and this percentage of our 1 rep max? Like, why are we choosing this distance? How is this going to make me a better athlete or make me more fit? Like, why this combination? There's so many different questions that we can ask that can get them more interested in what they're doing. And that's just from a professional standpoint. And then just navigating into their own personal, emotional, and mental health, I think is just an extension of our program. It's like, how are we going to handle these conversations? Like, how are you handling the challenges in your life right now? Like, why do you think we're going through these things? Like, why do you think we even talk about this stuff in the first place? Like, we could bring them in and we could say things to them, but such a huge benefit for me, and I know it's the same for Easy too, is like when I can shut up and just listen to them talk, I learn so much more about them. And I feel like they're getting so much more from it than me just saying, this is what you have to do. Like, this is how you navigate these conversations. Like, how are you guys navigating these conversations? It's just so crazy when you step back for them to have the mic and take control of that.
And you guys are focusing on 14 to 18-year-olds?
Yep. Our Empowered Youth Programming is pretty much 14 to 18. We have a few that are a little older that kind of help mentor the young kids. But yeah, right in that group.
So can you take us through kind of a sample week of what it would be like for one of these young men to be part of Project Onyx? Like, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis in terms of their exposure to you guys and what they're doing?
I'm going to take that one, P.
Yeah, go for it.
So, so right now we have 2 classes a week, just due to school and everything like that. But basically they come in and we just hang out, we talk. Of course, COVID protocols, right? Got your mask on, wash your hands, take your temperature, all that stuff. But they hang out, they just talk and chat a little bit. We catch up, just joke around. Once pretty much everyone's in the building, everyone's here, we have a whiteboard, and the whiteboard's usually turned around. Once they come out, we'll flip the whiteboard. The whiteboard will start off with discussions, topics, just this past week, we talked about life. In that topic, it was marriage, business, or relationship, business, knowledge. It was travel. It was
spirituality.
Like it was like everything in stages of life. It was like, have you thought about these things? Have you processed any of this? And we just get the feedback from the kids. Some of the things, of course, they're not really, they don't dive into, they don't talk about, but it was just kind of like why these things are important to be thinking about now and be thinking about why. I was telling them, I was like, a lot of people are Christians just because their parents are Christians. They have no clue about the Bible, what it stands for. They just know as a kid, my mom was a Christian. I went to church. We read the Bible, whatever. We pray to God. That's just kind of the flow of it, rather than figuring out, is this me? Is Christianity me? Or do I believe in something else? Or do I have? So it was just kind of like we have these discussions and these topics, these crazy topics where we just get into life and let these kids just vent, talk about things. Once we get done with that, we go into a basic warm up. We stretch out. We tell them why we're stretching out. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we got planned for today. But we just kind of move the body, get the blood flowing, a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility work, different things like that. Of course, Pat is a physical therapist, so he's more into the movement and prepping and stuff like that. These kids are young. They're just like, let me get up and go. But due to being a CrossFit gym, we go through a thorough stretching session. And then after that, we usually do a Metcon or strength and Metcon, or skill strength and Metcon, depending on what the date holds. But we do some type of workout where they'll be like this past week, they weightlifted. They basically went over the snatch, hang snatch, working on technique, mechanics, all the little ins and out of it, teaching them. And then the older guys, as Pat was talking, the ones that are a little bit older, I'll break off to the side with them and be like, hey, watch this of this person. And this is how we correct it with simple cues or whatever it may be. Just giving them that information. We'll go through a workout. After the workout is over, we usually will eat. We'll feed them something, whether it be pizza, whether it be, apples, oranges, bananas, granola bars, snacks. They just basically, they have a refrigerator here that is just food. Just it's theirs whenever they come in, and they can take it home. They can eat it here, whatever. A lot of them come from like wrestling or different practices, so they're hungry. So we just make sure everybody eats. After that, we cut the music up, we dance, kick it, hang out, just spend some time together, talk one-on-one about, if someone has any concerns or anyone needs any help outside of here. Patrick always reaches out to the kids and talks about, that's like his field of like school and education. What are you doing in school? How are your classes going? Do you need a mentor? Do you need help? Do I need to like work with you outside of class? And that's kind of Patrick's field. And that's pretty much the day of how a day flows with the classes. We usually have on Tuesdays, we have between 5 to 8 kids. And then on Saturdays, we probably see 12 to 15 on Saturdays. And that's just a class of how the flow goes. And then once we get done, they pack it up, they clean up the whole facility, and then they head out.
So where did you come up with the name Project Onyx?
When we first thought about this idea, Elijah was like, all right, just come up with a name and then we could keep rolling from there, because it was something that we could easily start, like marketing. We can come up with a logo real easily, and then we could start putting it on social media. And it didn't take me long. I don't know how I came up with it like in a day, but it was really just knowing that what we were trying to work on was a project. It was something that was like so much bigger than anything that me and Elijah had thought of before. And we knew that it was something that was going to take so many different people and different perspectives to get done, and probably something that's just going to be ongoing. So that's kind of where the name project came out of. And then Onyx was mostly just inspired by the black onyx, which is a precious gemstone, just to represent our main mission of working with people of color, especially Black Americans, is kind of like our primary demographic. And then I presented that to Easy, and then he did a little bit more research into the onyx stone and what it was about, to get a little bit more sense of what it could give us as far as inspiration. And he found that the onyx stone, it can come in a bunch of colors, but when you look at black onyx and you actually dive deep into what it actually looks like, it's a combination of all the colors. And the result is a black stone, which is something that not a lot of people know about. That is like, this kind of represents what we're about, is diversity, inclusion, and bringing people together and bringing the community into one more cohesive piece. So it just ended up being very fundamental to our message. And then also we were kind of fortunate enough that Elijah's wife, Yana, created her own business, jewelry called Onyx and Maze at the same exact time. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
It was perfect timing because she was coming up with names, and our gym colors are black and yellow. She was like, Onyx and Maze, and I was like, ooh, that rings a bell. I like that. And I was like, Maze, why Maze? And she was explaining Maze is, black and yellow or whatever. And I was like, ooh, I was like, that's sweet. And so I was like, Onyx is a black gem, right? And we looked it up and started doing some stuff on it. And once you combine every color possible, the only outcome color that you will get is black, and that is the onyx stone. It's comprised of a ton of different minerals and colors, and it comes into a black stone. So when he messaged me and said Project Onyx, I was like, bro, that's it. Like, that's it. We just launched Onyx and Maze, and now we got Project Onyx. I was like, that's it, man. So it was a perfect name and great timing.
That's incredible. So what are a couple of the barriers you guys are facing reaching out to the youth that need your services?
I think we're focusing on a few things right now. The time up until now has just been focusing on our core group and really giving them as much as we can and making sure that Project Onyx is set up for success in the future. But the big thing is the space. Like, we're just functioning out of Easy's gym, and our next initiative in regards to that is getting other gyms on board to run Project Onyx as well. The more space that we have, the more volume of people that we can work with. And then we also talked about it earlier, was just reaching out to our local public schools that have a larger population of BIPOC students that we can reach out to. And really, I mean, we don't really care who you are if you want to come hang out with us, but for sure, a big part is we need to help people that are underserved, that come from marginalized communities and ethnicities and races, and try to do that as best we can. So we need more space, and we need more access to different kids. And we've been so lucky with the kids that we have, because they're the ones that bring the new ones. Like, me and Easy don't talk at some Des Moines public school. Like, we tell them, bring your friends. If they have any inkling of interest, bring them around, and we will show them the hospitality that we show everybody else. So it's just reaching out, and now we're starting to get into those, and we're starting to show more people who we are, and more people are getting on board with our culture and our message. So
yeah, I saw you did a big fundraiser with O2.
Yeah,
and they raised some money for you guys with the sale of Formula 2. Are you guys looking at other business partnerships?
In the future, for sure, with Project Onyx. We did with O2 because I work with O2 personally. They sponsor me, and so I just thought it would be best. They've been super supportive of just everything, man. Every idea I bring to them, or every idea, I'm like, they're just like, yep, whatever you need, Easy, yep. So that was something where I was just like, hey, man, I think this could be a way that we can help fund Project Onyx. And so when we first kicked off, my biggest thing with Project Onyx was the capital side of things. Like I want to make money. I want to provide small businesses for these kids so that they can have a place to work, simple things that they can create their own brands, learn how to do it, whether it be coding, whether it be marketing, whether it be social media, or whatever it may be. I just want to create small businesses for these kids so that they can start actually learning how to own their own, build their own, create their own, and just have that space where they can create and at the end of the day, make money to take care of themselves as they get older and stuff like that. And so my thing was, if I can basically raise $100,000 this year was the goal. And I didn't want to just get donations or grants. I wanted to actually raise it by partnering up with companies and businesses, letting them give us a 1 day of, like O2 did, the 1 day of proceeds. So all orders that came in on that day, we got 20% or like 10% of all orders that came in that day. And we just marketed it and pubbed it, pushed it on my social media, things like that. And that was a way that people that said, hey, I want to support Project Onyx, don't feel like, oh, I'm just giving my dollars away and I don't get anything in return. And at the end of the day, I really don't know where my money's going, right? It's like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, I want to support this initiative, but I don't know these people and I hope they're doing the right thing, which we are. But like, that's the kind of discomfort you get. But if I can say, hey, come get this t-shirt, oh, I'll buy that t-shirt because that's supporting the business or that's supporting Project Onyx. And at least I leave with something, or I get something. And so my thing was, let's partner with companies. Let's use their platforms to spread the word, one, and then two, be able to make sure people are getting something for the service of Project Onyx. And so right now we want to do a small t-shirt business where we just basically print our own t-shirts. We take orders and we ship them out from Project Onyx from outside the gym. The kids work it, make money from working the Project Onyx thing. And then in the summer, we're going to do a car detailing service where basically 2 days a week, you can bring cars into the gym and the bay doors, vacuum them out, clean them down, everything like that. And these kids can learn how to work, make money, and then provide a service to make money and fund Project Onyx and fund themselves as well. And so along with partnering with other businesses, that's the other side of things. As we raise money and as we build more capital and revenue into Project Onyx, it's like, give these kids opportunity to monetize the things that they're thinking. It's like, hey, I got this cool idea. Well, it's like, well, how can we monetize it? Let's see if we can, create something from what we got, and then you can be over it. And we can reach out to other people that can intern or shadow, or you can work with to learn this part of the business so that you can create your own, have your own, build your own. And that's a big thing for me, especially with young Black youth, where, my name's Elijah Muhammad, man. You can imagine sometimes how it is for me getting a job or filling out an application. It's just like, we're going to push this one to the back. And these are things that I just noticed as I got older. And as I saw, no reputation, it may be harder for me to get a job, due to the fact that I do have a reputation. People know who I am. I'm only trying to apply for jobs where I got an inside connection anyway, or talk to someone that I got an inside connection. But just imagine, a kid named M.A. Mukiza. It's like, just off his name, he may not apply or get the job, even though he has all the qualifications. And these are the things that we're dealing with in the Black community. Just because his hair is twisted up and you don't understand, and you've never seen someone with their hair twisted up, it's like, he may not get that job opportunity. So it's like, let me show you something of how I did what I did and create your own and have your own, just in case. I still want you to get that job. I still want you to be an engineer. I still want you to push forward and break those barriers. But I still want you to know how to create your own, how to build your own, how to manage your own money, and have something that is a side of what you want to go for your career, job, or goal. Because at the end of the day, this might actually be your career job if you continue to grow it and build it. So that's the biggest thing for me with Project Onyx. As we break these barriers, is raising the money and finding a way to get the funds and create that $100,000 for this year so that we can attack all the little things that we have listed and down between me, Patrick, and the kids of Project Onyx, the organization.
It's funny you mentioned about the t-shirts because I've been a follower of you for a long time, and your t-shirts that you have been putting out are awesome. And they always go to good causes. Like you had the Black Lives Matter, you had the equality shirts, the Save the Children, all of that. And so that's a really cool, foray into what you're doing now with the kids.
Yeah, man. Thanks to my wife for those. She comes up with all those different ideas of what should we do for this t-shirt? What should we do for this t-shirt? She knows I'm very, very outspoken, and that's just how I am. So she basically was like, well, you already got a website and you already sell your Lift Heavy Often t-shirts. So why don't you just sell t-shirts? And I was like, perfect, let's do it. And so she's been coming up with different ideas, and then finding different organizations that align with our beliefs in our household and what we should be trying to raise and donate to. And we ended up raising about $15,000 this year in donations, which was, I mean, like I was blown away because I had never done that. I had never, did anything for a cause like that. So I was super excited and, told my kids about it and, what we were doing. And it was a big thing for me. So after doing that and the t-shirts, it was just like, why not continue? Why not continue to do this? And like I said, you pay for something, you get something out of it, and now you're supporting a cause.
I ordered my equality shirt a couple days ago. It hasn't come in yet, but it's on its way.
Hey, girl. Yeah, we
I
would
love
definitely
that.
get
I
it
love
to
that
you.
design. So,
Yeah.
so Elijah and Patrick, what can people do that are listening now? What's the best way for them to help you guys if they're not local to the Des Moines area, and maybe if they're not people of color?
So 2 things that I would say. One is you can spread the word. As you see us post, you can repost, share, tag different friends and post stuff like that with Project Onyx, just to spread the word. If you have any connections of anyone that, or donors or, grant writers or anything like that, whatever it may be, you can put us in touch with those people. Like just create those relationships and just kind of put us in touch with the people that, maybe can help support us or maybe align with what we are doing. And then on the other thing, we're about to get the t-shirt business up on Project Onyx. Just support, buy t-shirts. The kids are going to work. They're going to print the t-shirts. They're going to make them, everything like that. And so basically that gives them another job opportunity. And then the last thing would be when the time is right, affiliate. Be a Project Onyx gym. If you're a CrossFit gym and you're trying to help diversify your gym, be a Project Onyx gym. We will have certain stipulations to help the Black community to create job opportunities for people to work for Project Onyx and for the gym, so that you can diversify your facility, your gym, and make it actually more inclusive of what we're looking for in the future in the fitness industry and the CrossFit space too.
So that's your long-term goal, is to affiliate across the country?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a couple people that are interested already, and we're building processes to start that as soon as we can. And if you're a health and fitness professional, you could send us a message and you could apply for our mentorship program. We're accepting everybody, no matter what background you come from. We want to give these kids that we're working with every opportunity to access anybody and everyone that might have something to contribute to their lives. So donate, reach out to
And
us, even
do you
just
think you
say
guys-
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, do you think you guys are going to be opening this up to young women as well?
It
At some point in time?
already is.
Okay, good.
Yeah, right now we, it's 2 men that run it. So I guess, like you said, through that representation, they see 2 men and, but we already, we have 1 girl that is a part of Project Onyx, and we have 2 ladies on our board. And as we continue to grow and, put them, as you state, show the representation by putting them on our platform and using them, I'm pretty sure more women will come in, sign up and do it and join us. But right now it is like a little boys club. And when girls come in, they're kind of like, and we saw probably 6 total. 1 of them have stayed and she's with us and she loves it. She's that outlier where she's like, I don't care if it's a group of boys, I'm coming in to work out, I'm coming in to train, and she has fun. But yes, we are looking across the board, men and women that can join Project Onyx and affiliate and do the program.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's tough to get girls sometimes. I know that here in Delaware, I have a close connection with the folks that run Project or Green Beret Project, sort of a similar thing where underserved youth, and they have trouble getting girls because they don't have a lot of female coaches that can sort of attract them and things like that. So it's always a challenge, but it's great you guys are open to that.
We actually have something in the works right now to create an onboarding process for young females to get a good sense of what Project Onyx looks like. So it would be a females only onboarding class so that they can get a sense of Project Onyx, and then we integrate them into the normal classes as they get more comfortable. It would be led by our treasurer, who is a member of Easy's Gym. And she's a Black female that is super ambitious and aspires to be be the one that they can rely on as well. So her and our young lady that is in our Empowered Youth programming are going to actually be leading the way for that class. So
That's awesome. And Easy, what's the name of your affiliate?
We're not affiliated right now. Soon
Okay.
soon to
What's
be
the name of
back
your gym?
affiliated. Unorthodox Fitness. It will be Unorthodox Fitness, home of CrossFit Unorthodox.
Got it.
Yeah, we are going to reaffiliate. Been talking to Eric, and I'm loving what he's doing and the initiatives that he's pushing, man. So we will be back under that CrossFit umbrella very, very soon.
That's great to hear.
Well, Easy, Patrick, you guys are amazing. This was an awesome hour. So glad you gave us your time. I have more questions for you guys. I'd love to have you back in the future, and maybe we can see where you're at then, and give updates to our fans once you guys get down the road a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
thanks
you.
for having
Had a
me.
good time.
You guys have a good night.
guys. Thank you.
You too.
Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I wanted to remind you of our Road to 1,000 Subscribers giveaway that we have going on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe and have a public profile, you'll be entered to win a free RX Smart Gear original jump rope. You'll get to pick the pattern of the handles, the color and weight of the cable, and you'll be getting one of the best-selling, best-performing jump ropes out there. Every time we hit a new century mark with the number of subscribers to our channel, we'll randomly select a new winner. And our friend Dave Newman is going to throw in a little something extra for each winner. So a special thanks to our sponsor, RX Smart Gear, to Dave Newman for being such a great partner, and to you for being a loyal listener. Good luck, and I hope you are our next winner.